Hi everybody, I'm Zilla Blitz and welcome to the 2025 Shelf of Shame Challenge. What is the Shelf of Shame Challenge, you may ask? This is the challenge where I tried to play a subset of the rather large collection of board games, tabletop historical war games specifically, that I have on my shelves that I have yet to play or fully play. To my defense, I was gone from tabletop wargaming and historical gaming for about 25 years. When I get back into it, I put aside a little bit of money to buy some of the iconic games that have come out in the past 20 years. And a good number of them, however, are sitting still on the shelf, have yet to been played. New games, lots of excuses, I could do all that. But the goal here is to start making progress, chipping away at those games on your shelves that have yet to be played. With that in mind, here's the plan. I'm going to take 20 games on my historical board gaming, my wargaming shelf of shame, and I'm going to put them in a spreadsheet. And the goal is to play at least 10 of those games in the calendar year 2025. That's roughly one a month, with a month or so, 2 months for kind of messing up completely. To be fair, I did try one of these challenges last year where I put 10 games on the shelf of shame. I started in late February, March kind of thing. I did manage to play 3 of them, which is not really all that good. But this year is going to be different. This year, I'm going to play all 10 or more. Now, I'm going to play a lot of other games, new games, other games, and things like that. But this is a subset, an absolute must subset of the Shelf of Shame that I want to play in 2025. A couple things about this, too. I'm going to name 15 of the 20 games, but 3 of the spots are going to be People's Choice Awards. So after you hear the games that I name, and I know a lot of you know games I've played and haven't played over the past year, 2, 3 years or so, drop some suggestions down below in the comments, and I'm going to pick 3 of those and add them to the list. And I'm going to try to play at least 2 of the 3 People's Choice Awards here. And then the last 2 spots, I'm going to leave as what I call audibles. So those are going to be choices that I can make along the way where I decide that I really want to play one of the iconic games on my shelves that I just didn't include in the list at the beginning of the year. One last thing before we jump in and talk about the list of games. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. If you like some of the games you hear in this list, Noble Knight Games from Wisconsin, which ships all across the planet, can be a great source of these games, especially if they are older out-of-print games. They often have pretty reasonable prices on some of the stuff that can be hard to find in places other than like eBay and such like that. But they have a very wide selection of war games, and if you do use the links down below to get something from the site, thank you very much, as it helps. We get a small percentage of that purchase as it comes in. So thank you to all the people that have done that in the past and continue to do it in the future. Also, before we start, I have a spreadsheet that's publicly viewable. I'll put a link to it down below that's going to show my progress through the Shelf of Shame Challenge. You'll notice in here the game names, which I've deleted because I want to keep them secret for the moment, and then some notes. And then I've got a percentage played. The idea is to play them roughly 3 times each until I feel like I've played the game. Because the first time you play a war game, you're just kind of fudging through the rules. You don't have it down. So I'll have kind of unique criteria to qualify as a game as being played in the challenge. And I'll kind of build those out as we go through the challenge during the course of the year. All that being said, let's walk through the 15 games that are on the Shelf of Shame Challenge for 2025. First up, D-Day at Omaha Beach. This is one of the carryovers for last year. I'm carrying over the games that I didn't play from last year. So the first 7 are those games. This, of course, is iconic solitaire game, World War II, Omaha Beach by John Butterfield. I've played it a number of times, but I haven't played it. So my goal is to play it more times and get closer to winning. I'm not sure if I will ever win against this game, but I at least want to feel like I've really gotten much closer to winning. Second game, Paths of Glory, World War I strategic level game, point-to-point game that has a whole family of games underneath it. I also want to try this one with Stukajo's solitaire system to be able to play this one here. And I think I'm going to be playing a game with Nathan from Legendary Tactics, who was on the channel the other day talking about his 10 war games of best war games of all time. Next up, another holdover from last year, Fire in the Lake. I've played a good bit of coin counterinsurgency games from GMT over the last couple years, but Fire in the Lake is one of the iconic games in this series. I've yet to play it, so that one's on the list as well. And kind of continuing on that theme of D-Day at Omaha Beach, another iconic solitaire game is Enemy Action Ardennes, also by John Butterfield, the classic World War II Battle of the Bulge game. That's a 2-player game, and you can play with kind of an AI opponent playing as the Germans, or kind of your AI bot system playing as the Allies. So many people have told me this is their favorite solitaire game, and it still lies unplayed on my shelf. The Shelf of Shame is so embarrassing. Next up was the People's Choice Award from the Mark Simonich 'XX series, which is Holland 44. the carryover as well from last year. The nice thing about this one is that they've come out with a new printing that's kind of updated some of the not errors, but some of the errata has been built into it. And I was able to get that. So I'll have the latest version of Holland 44 to be able to play for this one. The next two are the last two carryovers from last year. And honestly, they probably are the most embarrassing games in the Shelf of Shame Challenge. Empire of the Sun, Mark Herman's classic World War II game. I've seen people play it. I've learned halfway through the game at a number of conventions and seen people play and watch gameplay and stuff. Such an iconic game with both solitaire and two-player. I mean, one of the classic games in the wargaming category. And yes, I've yet to play it. And this one is getting played for sure. And another classic that often comes up in the best solitaire games conversation, RAF Battle of Britain by Decision Games, where you can play as either the German or the British Air Force for the Battle of Britain in this fantastic solitaire. It plays two-player as well, but a fantastic solitaire system, recreating the entire campaign of the Battle of Britain. That's the last holdover from last year. Now we're going into new games nominated for this year. This new game on the Shelf of Shame Challenge has such an ardent following, and I've seen a number of gameplays. And I actually went to a session at SD HistCon's winter convention where there was a demonstration on how to play. So I feel like I've got a pretty good idea on what to do, but I'm talking about Combat Commander Europe or Pacific, any one of the Combat Commander games. Let's do with that. And this is one I've been looking forward to play. It's also not incredibly difficult to jump into, but such a wide and ardent and devoted fan base. I feel like I really want to play this one, so I'm looking forward to having this one on the Shelf of Shame Challenge. Next new game on the list. So the other day when Nathan was talking about his top 10 war games of all time, he mentioned Ambush from Victory Point Games, an older classic game. And someone in the comments said that Ambush and Combat are basically the same game, same system, same type of game. I have that Combat game from Compass Games, and I really, really want to try it. So I've put that one on the list instead of Ambush. I'm probably going to get wailed on in the comments for doing this, but I know there are a lot of people out there that say Combat is incredibly awesome. Also a solitaire game, World War II, individual soldier level Combat, just a classic solitaire game to explore. And the third one is coming out sometime this year as well, but I definitely want to get that into that played category. Next one gives you a little bit of leeway here. I'm calling it Something Leader. So the first game I came back when I came back to wargaming was Sherman Leader. It was the game that got me back into the hobby. I've since picked up a few of the other leader games, but with the campaigns, they take a while to kind of get through, and you want to kind of dig through and play a campaign. But this year, I want to play one of the other leader games that I have. I'm leaning now towards kind of B-17 leader, but you could probably convince me to play a different one. The next two games actually are a direct result of the conversation with Nathan from Legendary Tactics the other day. This one is Upfront, the individual soldiers kind of squad level combat game with cards, the classic game. I recently did get this one actually from Noble Knight Games. It just came a few weeks ago. So I'm really excited to dig in and learn this system. And there is a local friend nearby who said he's played the game a ton. So I think we're going to get together and play some two-player of this one soon. Also, from the conversation with Nathan, I've been wanting to play this one for a long time anyway, but his conversation really made me realize that no, I really want to play this one. Skies Above the Reich. I'm also giving myself the alternative to play Skies Above Britain. One of those two games. Really want to play a campaign with those this year. I feel like it's a classic solitaire game, and the fact that I haven't played it yet is kind of embarrassing. All of these are Shelf of Shame, right? I mean, I usually call it Shelf of Opportunity, but this is, some of these I really need to play. 3 more to go, and the next one actually is going to have a special announcement video coming up pretty soon. Advanced Squad Leader. Yes, I played Squad Leader a long time ago, and I played some of the starter kit games, but I'm going to dig in a little bit to Advanced Squad Leader, and I don't want to make it the lifestyle game that it can be, but I want to understand how to play it, and play some Advanced Squad Leader, and that's one of the goals for this year. And this one, I'm pretty sure, is a definite. This one is going to happen this year for reasons I'll explain in some other videos coming up later this month. Game number 14 is from Legion Games. It's their best-selling game, Target for Today, which really is kind of an extension of the older, I think, B-17 Queen of the Skies game with a little bit more detail, a little bit more fleshed out. Heard so many people say good things about this one. You basically control a World War II bomber and have a campaign series missions over Europe in World War II. Heard such fantastic things about it. I really want to give it a shot, and it's been staring at me on my Shelf of Shame for way too long. Game number 15 is one that I know will come up in the comments if it wasn't put in this list. The World War II Warfighter game. I only have one Warfighter game from Danvers and Games, so it has to be this one. But I do have a World War II Warfighter game, and I've seen people play it, and I know I'm going to love it. it has to go on the list. That is my 15th game. And there you have it. There are 5 open slots on the Shelf of Shame Challenge. Down below in the comments, I'd be curious, will you have a Shelf of Shame Challenge this year? If so, tell me about it. I'd love to hear about it because there's a lot of different ways to organize these, and there might be ideas for how I might be able to modify mine or improve mine and things like that. But I would also like to hear your suggestions for games I should add to this list. Many of these games, I'm not sure if I will make video content on all of these games. I certainly will be making video content on some of these games. So by all means, drop it down below. What are your favorite games that you think I haven't played yet? And you put more than 1, put 2, put 3. I'd love to hear from you. And then the last 2 spots, again, are going to be audibles that I can just say, oh, nope, I'm going to put this one in and play it. So if I can kind of spontaneous playing of the Shelf of Shame there. Thanks everybody for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy some of the playthroughs on the channel. I'm putting a link up here to the Men of Iron Agincourt scenario that we played a long time ago. It's one of my favorite games to play, one of my favorite solitaire games because of the system there. Of course, it's good 2-player as well. But there is a 3-part series on the Battle of Agincourt available on the channel. You might enjoy watching that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.